You have just read a great book or you have signed up to take a great class, and now you're wondering, how do you get your investment out of it? How do you actually apply what you've learned to your business? How do you make sure that it makes a difference in your business and your life? Welcome to Explore Your Enthusiasm, episode 283 with me, Tara Zweiger. Today I am answering a question that was asked by a Starship Captain who just finished a book. Okay, that was great, but how do I actually apply it to my business? You see, I have thought a lot about making business information applicable to your life. I've built it into my courses and my programs so that as you work through the Starship, you're prompted to apply it to your business and your life right then. We do this through apply it to your business worksheets that people love because they actually take the information and they make it applicable. We do this through regular, gentle accountability, and we do this through chunking up the information and putting it in the order that you need to learn and apply it in order to make a real difference. You can learn how I structure it, and you can learn what you need to apply to your business in order to make your business thrive and make it profitable and make it simplified in my free masterclass, the 4 Foundation Method. You can find that at tarazweiger.com/foundations. So let's get into how you can apply what you've learned. Now, one of the mistakes we all make when we're really enjoying learning something is we just rush through it. We just read it all, we absorb it all, we move on, and we just enjoy the reading or learning process. Now, I'm a big believer that you can actually absorb way more than you think, and that when you need it again, it will come back to you. If you have read about a topic you don't need now, it'll come back to you when you need it again. I never worry about forgetting something that I've read. But if you need to, you can take notes to help you remember that. But there's a big difference between remembering and actually applying it to your business. Being able to pull up a fact or stat is not the same as having it transform your business or your life. In order to get real transformation, you need to do something deeper than a quick read. You need to stop and think. You need to take your time. You need to take notes or create action steps of things to do. It's going to seem obvious, but one of the easiest ways to make a book or a class applicable is to actually do the exercises. I know. We all say we're going to do the exercises, but then we're like kind of reading and we're comfortable and we don't want to get up and go get our notebook. But if you don't do the exercises, or in my course, if you don't do the worksheets, it's not going to make a difference to your business. You're going to think about it and do it in your head. You're not going to have the information down on a piece of paper and really be able to go back to it later and see it and make a to-do list from it. Often I will do my exercises for a book in my journal, and then when I get to the end of the book, go back and review my exercise and my notes, and then make an action plan from those notes, from what I learned. So it's totally fine to just read through and not do the exercises. If you want a book for general business knowledge, for something you can call up later, or you just kind of want to like shape how you're thinking about it. But if you want to make more change in your business from this book or course, you need to stop and do the exercises. Give it the time it deserves. If you picked up the book because you want to make a change in your business, then dedicate the time, commit the time and the effort to making it make a real change. That is really the first step to learning from a book or class, is committing yourself to it. So now you're like, okay, I'll go slow, I'll slow down, I'll do the exercises, but who has time for that? Well, if it's important to you, then you do. You have time for it. You can make it a priority for your life. You can make sure you set aside time for it. Now, we're going to talk about setting aside time in next week's episode of the podcast, so make sure you've subscribed. But for now, just think, if it's a priority, you're going to make time for this. Now, you probably already know this, but let's be honest with yourself. When you pick up a book or you sign up for a class, do you stop first and ask yourself, when will I work on this? Am I committed enough to set aside a time to work on this? Or do you hope that the book or the class is going to be so transformational that it just moves your schedule around without you having to do any work? No, most of us don't stop and ask when we're going to commit the time to ourselves. And in fact, most of us tell ourselves that the reason why we can't take a class right now is because we don't have time for it. Instead of stopping and looking and asking, is this transformation important enough to me that I will set aside the time for it? Is it important enough for you to have a thriving, profitable business that you will set aside the time to learn how to make that happen? Or are you just going to continue spinning your wheels because you're not quite sure how to make it happen, but you don't have the time to study it? I know that's a little tough love for you. So this is a good time to tell you, nothing in your business or life will change unless you commit to doing the work and you commit to making time for it. I was recently told that someone didn't join the Starship because it didn't have a guarantee that they could make a living from their creative business. But honey, there's no way that I can guarantee that you will do the work that's required to make your business a living for you. There is no amount of information I can pour into you that will make you do the work. Instead, what I can do is give you the education, teach you how to apply it to your own business, walk you through applying it to your own business, give you weekly accountability, answer your questions in monthly Q&A calls to help make it all more applicable, but I can't make you do the work. So nothing has a guarantee of working if you don't do the work. No one can guarantee your success except for you. You have all the power to guarantee your success. So the question is whether you're going to take that responsibility or not. Now, the next step to learning from a book is to allow for failure and experimentation. The thing is, when you try new things, when you apply new learnings, it's not always going to work out the way you want to work out. Experimenting and failing and trying again has to be part of how you look at applying it, or it's not going to work. This has to be built in to how you think about your business and information and education, or you're never going to move forward. If you're not willing to move forward on something that might fail, you won't move forward at all. If you're waiting for the perfect piece of advice that is perfectly guaranteed to absolutely work for you, you're never going to find it. So I used to call this the special snowflake syndrome, but that phrase has since got very politicized. So now I'm thinking of it as the uniqueness paradox. And that is that every student comes to me and tells me they are unique. They're not sure it will work for them because they have a very specific business and it's not like other businesses. But hun, that's true of everybody. Like, of course your business is unique, but there are some foundational business lessons that have been around since the dawn of time, since business and capitalism, that will work for you, that will be applied, like profitability. If you spend more than you earn, your business won't be profitable. If you earn more than you spend, it will be. That's the kind of foundations we're talking about, but actually applying them and doing the math to your specific numbers. So there are foundations that work, whether you are selling $4 PDF designs or you are selling $100 earrings. Marketing foundations about spreading your message is obviously going to be different whether you're selling $4 designs or $100 earrings, but the foundation and the method for finding your message that will speak to your people can be the same. It's the same path and process, even though the results and the specifications are going to be different. But you won't always know what will work for you until you apply it and you try it and it fails and you try a different way. So you're going to need to be open to experimentation to find the thing that works best for you. When you try new things in your business, when you apply something new that you've learned, you need to build in time for experimentation and necessary failure. And you need to build in time to reassess, is this working? Is this not working? Is it the actual lesson that's not working, or is it how I'm applying it? Do I need to come at it from a different angle? Is it the concept that's not working, or my application of the concept that's not working? Can I try it in a different way? If you have that mindset of experimentation and you build in regular review, you will figure out what's working, what's not working, and you will try new things and you will make progress just by trying new things. So I believe in this so much. I've built in monthly reassessment into the Starship. Every single month at the end of the month, you get a worksheet, which of course you don't have to do, but it won't work unless you do it, that helps you review the last month, the lessons you've learned, what you tried, what you didn't try, what you meant to try, what you're going to try next, so that you can always be progressing. So no matter how you learn the foundations, you can apply them in ways that actually works for your very specific, unique business. Because if you want to reach your goals, you have got to stop and check in. You have got to stop and see what's working and what's not working, so you don't just keep spinning your wheels on something that at the end of the year you realize didn't work. You have got to learn the lessons your business is trying to teach you in order to grow that business. Your business knows what it needs and it will tell you, hey, this isn't working. Hey, this is working. Do more of this if you're paying attention. The last way that you make something applicable to your business is going to sound really obvious, and that is you ask over and over and over, how can I make use of this? How was this useful to me? What part of this is applicable to my business, the unique business I have today, where I am exactly right now? Yes, there is going to be part of every business or course that is not applicable to you right now. Maybe it's something you're going to need in the future. Maybe it's something you've already figured out in the past. But the key to still getting use out of that book or course is to ask, what can I use from this right now? What is actually where I am? Some whole books or some whole classes are not in alignment with where you are right now, but they will be later. Or maybe they've already covered the basics that you've got your handle on. Ignore what's not working for you. Instead of looking at all the things that don't apply to you, look for the things that do apply to you. It's just a mindset shift to go from, oh, I already know that, to, you know what, there's something for me to learn here. I know this can be hard sometimes to find information that feels applicable to your business right now. When I first started my first business, which was making and selling hand-spun yarn, mostly on Etsy and in some yarn shops, all of the business advice I could find was for things like yoga teachers and coaches and internet marketing people. None of it seemed applicable to what I was doing. None of it was talking about even selling a physical product, let alone a physical product that only knitters and crocheters and a small amount of weavers would ever want to buy or pay for. But I started paying attention to what the foundations of their lessons were, which was know your product, know your customer and their language to use, know your numbers and your profitability, know where you want to go and make a plan to get there. And I started implementing that in my business in my own way with my totally weirdo product, and it was working. But what I learned as I quit my day job and I started talking to other makers about what I was doing and what I was learning and where I was learning it from is that this is actually a strength to translate foundational concepts into a doable plan, to actually be able to see the underlying structure of things and then communicate it to people. That is not a strength that everybody has. And so what I started doing was doing that translation work, working with makers to translate things that are foundational business concepts like goals and profit and marketing and time management, translate it into a language that is super specific for what we as makers do in our business. And since then, I also work with designers and yarn shops and some writers because I'm translating it into that creative language and in a way that makes sense, which is why so many of you listen to my podcast, is because I'm translating it into a way you can understand. So if that isn't your strength, that's okay. If you have a hard time seeing what the underlying concept is and how you would apply it to your business, that's okay. You can work with someone who can translate it for you. You don't have to have an MBA to have a successful business. You don't have to be able to understand like grand business talk and the way economics professors talk about capitalism in order to be profitable. You can work with someone who's going to translate it for you. And that translation is exactly what I do in my 4 Foundation Masterclass. I translate those big concepts into questions for you to answer to apply them to your own business. So you can find that at tarsweiger.com/foundations. It's totally free. You can choose a time that's going to work for you. And it's what I try to do each week here on the podcast too. So you can always leave me a comment, let me know. Leave me a comment over on Instagram, send me a direct message, let me know what concept you need translating or what concept I translated for you that really helped you. I would love to hear that. So if you are having a hard time applying general business knowledge to your exact business, I have a homework assignment for you. First, I want you to go and grab a spot in one of the upcoming Foundations Masterclass at tarsweiger.com/foundations. That's going to teach you the basic business foundations and it's going to translate it into questions you can answer to start the process of building that in your business. No matter how long you've been in business, you need to gird up those foundations. They're what I work on all the time. It's most of what my business is. Most of what my work is day to day is going back and building those foundations in my business. And the second step of your homework is to make sure you've subscribed to this podcast so you get more translation to you weekly. I'll be bringing you more translated for you business advice in the weeks to come. So make sure you've subscribed however you're listening to or watching this, whether it's on IGTV or YouTube or Facebook or podcast app. You can find me in all those places. So thank you for finding me where you found me today. Thank you for sharing me with your friends who need help translating. Thank you for being here. And I want you to go apply what you've learned today to your most recent book or class you took. Have an enthusiastic and profitable week.